Welcome back, friend. Today we are going to take a look at storyline. Now, I'm bringing you terminology that was brought through the human design system, through Ra'uruhu, and I'm placing it here so that if you're ever looking anywhere or having a conversation with somebody, they can see where it's coming from. But what storyline really does is it provides us with our foundation for fulfilling our purpose. We are designed to have this particular lifeline, this story, this trajectory. And when we can step into the strategy and into the authority of that, of our physical bodies, all of a sudden, the purpose is right there in front of us. There's no longer the muck and the mire and the veils on top of the veils on top of the veils. So let's get started. Now, what's important is that you understand where these lifelines come from. Now, the storyline itself is in the nodal trajectory. Now, nodes are just aspects. They're not actually planets. They are positionary items that allow us to get information from the stellar energy field. And that's really what the nodes do for us. So the brain-body system itself and the nodal story, we go deeper into all of this when we walk through the biology piece. Because what the brain-body does here in the designed Sun Earth, what that does is it provides us with the foundation of how to nourish the physical body and the physical brain. What the storyline does, there's environments involved here. And those environments nurture the life. We don't get really deep into environments at all here because I want you to just understand the trajectory, either the left or right aspect of these arrows. Then when we move over to the personality, we have the perspective. And then we have the mind, which is motivated. So there are 4 different steps to the transformational piece that I walk you through in the biology aspect. Here, we are just looking at the nodal trajectory so that we know we can come to a conclusion, what am I designed to, how am I designed to show up in my environment, and then what am I designed to see in the environment, okay? That's what we're going to focus in on here so that you can understand this in your career and in your business. If you're not in the right environment, you're not nurturing the perspective, and then all of a sudden the perspective is very skewed, and we're not seeing what we're designed to see so that you and I can make money, so that we can have the correct people in our environments, so that we can actually have the storyline that is designed for us. So everything about what it is to be correct is to establish the storyline and to live it as this is the fulfillment of the purpose. So for the first 30 years that I talk about in the biology piece, it really is about the dietary regimen for the body, to establish that dietary regimen so that the physical body is well nourished. And then from 30 to 50, from our Saturn return to the Chiron return, is what we call these, is the establishment of environment and perspective so that you can really grasp, take hold of your life on this material plane. So it really is, again, the environment and the perspective journey that lays the foundation for our flowering of the motivation of the mind in the post-Chiron. Now, it feels like this is such a long process, and it is, because we moved from these 30-year-old machines, these mechanisms that really only hit 30, to this mechanism that can go all the way to 84 and beyond. And because our physical bodies are able to live longer, our process of maturation and maturing is a longer process. I know, and I'm watching it. I'm watching a lot of things happen in our world. You are too, where the millennials of this reality, they're not scared of money. They're not scared of it. They're just doing their thing because they're still in that trial and error phase. They have not matured. They have not flowered into who they are yet. Now, anybody that's past that 50-year mark, you have matured. You've walked through so many processes, and there can be layers and layers and layers of fear and anxiety and nervousness around many topics, including money. And we don't need to be scared of any of it. We are designed to mature. We are designed to utilize the monetary currency to enhance our world and not destroy it. So the independent variable represents the life itself, and they represent the way in which the form is intended to operate in the life itself. This is your life. This is how the life is intended to unfold. So the variable lays out the mechanics for the expression of the ultimate expression of awareness. That's really what we're trying to get to here, is a place where awareness can be built right into our careers and right into our businesses. No longer conforming, no longer handing over our power to anything. This is about pure awareness through your clean, crisp eyes. So it's a mechanical way in which this differentiated awareness can and will express itself, given that the mechanics are correct. And what are the mechanics? Well, that's strategy and authority. That's what the mechanics really, the foundation of it. So going back into how are you designed to make decisions? So the environment and the perspective. So as you're going to learn in that wellness code module, in our biology code module, is the dietary regimen strengthens the body. And the body needs to be nourished properly so that this environment is the thing that actually makes your life healthy. Okay? And when we're able to feed the physical body correctly and we're in this correct environment, once those two steps are secure, then our eyes can become open up to the right world we're designed to see. You get to see what you are here to see from the perspective that you are here to see it. That is so important. So in the correct environment, you will be brought the conditions and the people you are here to see. And from this correct seeing, the motivation of the personality and the outer authority can be expressed. Now, I have talked extensively about outer authority in other modules so that you have an understanding of it. Outer authority is not just our minds and our mouths talking. This is about really coming to a deep place of awareness and sharing that awareness. And no matter in the end what the potentials are of the brain and the mind, that's here along this line. This is the movement that the life is really here to move through. And when we can absolutely surrender, we actually get the life that we are designed to get. And that really is what strategy and authority does for us. It allows you to surrender to the life, to let go of trying to figure it out, trying to make all the decisions in the mind. So your life itself may not surrender to anything, but you have surrendered to your life. Let your life live out its movie. Ra talks a lot about movie when he talks in any of his lectures. It's all about watching the movie. Sit in your own theater and watch your own movie. You want to be able to bring your awareness to this 30,000 foot view, because what happens is that This allows the beauty that is intended to be in your life to be there. And you have to be able to treat your physical body to the strategy and authority. There's nothing for you to do. You just have to use that strategy and authority day in and day out. So you're just here to live the correctness of what you are. So the nodes itself, they are the gateways. Okay, so the brain and the mind system, they're really actually still. I know people are like, nope, my mind is crazy. Yep, exactly. But they're actually still, and they are actually waiting for something to happen. They're waiting for life. But if it's not the right life, then all of a sudden, everything becomes distorted. We're lashing out, we're not eating properly, we're not taking care of the vessel, and things start to unravel. So this is what the nodes bring. They bring the life. This is where the magic absolutely unfolds. The nodes align us to our ancient geometry. This takes us right back to the very, very beginning of time. So the nodes are the gateways, they're positions. It's the neutrino ocean that's pouring through from beyond the solar system. The solar shell that so deeply programs us. Our solar Earth configurations. So the nodes are our real line that are our mystical path from the past to the future. And we ride that. That's what we do. We ride that. And that brain and mind system is absolutely dropped into the life program. It's a life program that is conditioned by the nodes. We're designed to be on this particular train track. So it's the beginning of being able to establish a certain clarity in your awareness, to begin to recognize that the body, that the life is not actually yours. What? You're designed to witness this life. Get out of the way and witness it. And what I hope to show you is that the mind is not yours either. It's not any of those. It's simply what you're a passenger in and what you're a passenger of. This goes deep, you guys. This goes really deep. We want to claim our mind. We want to claim our life. None of this is yours. We are just passengers moving through it. But we get so caught up in the muck and mire that we absolutely forget. We absolutely forget that we are here just to watch it and witness it. The nodes, the environment, and the perspective that I keep indicating here, when we're looking at the nodes themselves, you're looking at something that's very, very, very special. Why? Because they represent two things. They actually represent the environment that we've talked about, and they represent the perspective. And built into that is something really to grasp about how profound the form principle really is. You start off on your way. The first thing to understand is that following your strategy and authority is certainly going to eliminate basic burdens from your life. So you get to go through a 7-year cellular deconditioning process, because all of us that have entered into this and probably are on here, we were conditioned from the very beginning. What Ra always said is that this information really is for the kids, to help them not live a conditioned life. But you and I have to have this cellular deconditioning process. There's a process here. So you're going to come out of the other side of this a very healthy or a healthier and better human being in terms of the way in which you see yourself and how you live. This homogenized world is nothing but mental suffering. And that's the whole point of my programs. That's the whole point of me being here, is to share and get that understanding into people and be able to have people grasp it and experience it, that we do not need to be in a homogenized mental suffering world. We just don't. So again, the nodes are the gateway. It's this binary. The nodal storyline is ruled by Uranus. Why do we say that? Because we are Uranian beings. So we have this movement that happens from our past to our future. And around 42, which is about the halfway mark, it's like our midlife. All of a sudden, we have this shift from what we're learning in the past to learning into the future. Now, that happens right in the middle of this aspect from 30 to 50. We kind of have this shift so that we can really mature after the age of 50. So one of the things to be very clear about the road is that when you get to that midpoint of life, all too often people are like, okay, so you're cruising along, you're operating through the understanding of your south nodes. And then all of a sudden we get to the midpoint and we switch to the north node. And many people think that we actually switch tracks or we change to a completely different life. It's not what happens. What happens is that we're not changing any kind of direction. We didn't go from the past to the future. We're not turning around in the middle of it. It's an assumption. What happens is that we're actually moving from one road being named one thing to a completely different name. But it's actually the exact same trajectory. It's the same road. So we're on the same street. It's just two different names. So let's just take a look here at this person. So they're beginning life. So the south node, details, 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 and more details. However, those details from the 62nd gate are building up this inner truth that they get to drop into for their future part of the walk on the road. And what they'll notice is that the people that are on their path, these people are authority figures. And these people are also messengers. They're bringing practical solutions. So for the first 42 years, the practical solutions and the authority that they seem to bump into or walk with down this road, they were really focused in on the details. But then they notice all of a sudden those authority people and those people bringing the messages, all of a sudden became focused in on inner truth. It's not like the road changed. It's just that the focus changed. The name of the street changed. It went from having details to having inner truth. So again, the nodes are not objects. These are like windows. They are looking out from your eyeballs. And this is about being able to see how these streams of information flow to us based off of where is our physical body right now? Where's your physical body? Is it in the correct environment? Is it able to actually see what you are designed to see? So what we're going to focus in on, I'm going to bring you through each one. There's 4 different variations of how the nodes show up. We're going to first go into the left. So grab your charts, and if you have a left node, left node movement, this is where you really want to understand something deeply. Okay. So in the environment, left, active environment, you are here to be observed. This is my chart, and we're going to talk about it. And then my perspective is left as well. And I'm designed to have a focused seeing. So what left environment and left view people do is we need to have work that defines us. What we do gives us our focus. We need to be active in working on what we do, because what we do defines us. And then we need to be able to focus in on that, because what we focus in on defines us. So what you do in this life is the most important decision you will ever make. It's not about who you are, who you're with, it's about what you actually do on that trajectory. So fulfillment comes from what you do and the particular quarter that your sun is in. So again, go back to that quarter, the quarter the module that talks about purpose by quarter. Because once you understand that, you can see what quarter you're in. So mine is about duality. So here I am, my whole focus at this point while I'm making this video for the last 8 years has been on the human design system and how to bring it into the awareness, career, and business. And my whole focus is around duality and bonding. So bringing in and seeing that duality and focusing in on that dualistic world, because that's what we live in. We live in a quantum physics duality. That is perfect for my design. So the left being needs to be active and focused. I am active all day long. And I am always focused in on what I am doing. You know, this is what's really important to you. It defines you. If you are a left, I am a left. This is all that defines me. But what the not self will do, will try to pull you away from that. So if you're not connected with what you do as a left nodal configuration, then the not self, that conditioning, is pulling you off track. You're to be observed in your environment. That's why I have so many YouTube videos. That's why I am at my farm, constantly people here observing me on my farm. I have 150 cattle that observe me on my farm. So environment doesn't necessarily mean a place. It is the quality of the place. So in human design, any of the environments which we talked about, if you go back to the module on our wellness code, go back in there and take a look at the environment aspect, which is the second transformation. All of those locations that I talked about there, they can be found anywhere. Okay, they can be found anywhere. So mine is shores. My environment is shores. I can find shores anywhere. Doesn't have to be in Hawaii on the beach. But what happens is when I attune to that correct environment, I can be completely active and focused in. So attuning to the correct environment and attuning to what you are designed to see, that quality of your awareness is derived from your work. Really, it is what you do. So even if you're an advisor or a projector or a manifester, innovator, reflector, evaluator, if you have a left environment and view, you must have an activity level and focused in on what you do. So even though you're not designed to do all the work, the activity level can still be typing on a computer, reading a book, creating a podcast. I'm not saying that the activity level has to be, oh, you have to get out there and spend hours and hours like walking or working or no. The activity level is going to be based off of your strategy and authority, but there has to be some level of activity. So you're here to be focused. So you need to find the thing that is correct for you. You have to. That's why we're going through this whole thing. Because it is so important for those with the left environment, you need to know what you are here to do. And that is why I teach purpose. That's why I'm here to bring career, to bring the business sense so that you know exactly, so that you're not burnt out. Your activity is not to be wasted. Don't waste your activity on things that are not within your focus. Your energy is for focus, and your activity is for your focus. That focused view, it's a deep focus. For me, it is that contribution and possession in great measure or power skills. So for me, my view is about people that are this third line. Now, we've talked about this in the wealth code aspect of this program, where attuning to those people in your environment, I've talked about it in great measure, in great movement, that the people that I am designed to see, they're the ones that make mistakes. They're the ones that are the pioneers. And they know that they are here to contribute. They absolutely know that they are here to be of service, but they're not quite sure how to get there. My view focuses right in onto them, so that I can assist them with honing in on what it is that they are here to do. So the wisdom or the intelligence that you are going to develop is an intelligence that in which it is what you're doing. It is what you're doing in your life. That's what's correct. Whatever you do has to define you. This is what I do. I teach this system. I bring in that purpose so that each person can live the life that they're designed to live. Make money. Collect resources. So important. So if you're not doing the right thing in the right place, it's going to be a long, long way to awareness. I am doing the right thing, and I am totally in the right environment. And that's what I love about this. So you're the kind of person that if you go into a place and it makes you feel sleepy, you want to fall asleep, get out. It's going to kill you. You're designed to have activity. It's designed to like juice you right up so that you can focus in on that juiciness. So a little bit more here around this just so that you can really grasp it. Again, your activity is not to be wasted. You need to know what your focus is. That's why I am here teaching you this. The activity level for your body is going to be a strategy and authority, strategy and authority, strategy and authority. So your energy is for your focus. Your activity is for your focus. So if you're left, that one thing that matters to you, you are defined by what you do. Now, I have clients that are moms. That is what they are defined, and that's what's defining them in that moment. So do what is correct for you. Don't settle. Don't accept anything less because you rob yourself of your future. Do not settle. Do you hear me? Don't settle. I say this often. I don't settle for things. I used to. I no longer do that. So left environment is where you do your thing. The environment almost is absolutely pointless in the sense that you're into your thing. Like be so involved in it that laser focus is happening. Now we're going to switch it up a little bit. Now we're going to go from this left environment and a right view. So instead of being focused, a focused view, it's about a peripheral view. So the left environment is still about being busy and being observed. However, it's having this peripheral view, not focusing in. Okay? So these people are totally occupied in their activity still because it's a left environment. And you'll always catch the eye of the other. You are designed to be observed in your environment. So it's busy and active. The environment itself, there's things happening in it, and you are designed to be active in your environment. So the environment is there to nourish your activity. And that activity has many, many levels. Like I said, maybe it is typing on a keyboard. Maybe it is scaling a telephone or a power pole because your job is a linesman and you're to scale that pole. It all depends on your strategy and authority and what you have been moved towards for the activity level. So for example, if you're single, motor defined, or none, maybe you have no motors defined or you only have one motor defined, you can use your energy sparingly and yet be active in the environment, like typing on a keyboard, like sorting out a box of pictures. Maybe it is simply you're the guy just walking around a work site, not expending all that energy. Somebody else is going up the power pole, whatever that is. Now, let's look at the right perspective. So right seeing sees what others don't see, because those who are right see peripherally. Now, I have a left view. I'm very focused, so I don't see peripherally. You get to see through a fisheye lens. So you get to see the whole thing. While you're being active, you're seeing everything in the environment. Your perspective goes out farther than those with a left perspective. So people that are here who are left environment, right perspective, to have those kinds of So it's like having something on an automatic pilot. So I know people like this, it's so fun, where they're active in the environment. So what comes to mind right away is somebody who's knitting. And I know these people. They know that knitting so well that their fingers are busy, that they are active, they can sit. And yet they're taking it all in because they don't have to actually focus in on that. It's just natural. It's repetitive. They're doing it and they're doing it and they're doing it. So they can still see everything that they need to see around them and yet be completely active. So somebody that's walking, right? You're on this a site, maybe you're building whatever it is, and you're walking around, you're taking it all in, and walking doesn't take any kind of focus, but you're walking and you're taking it all in. It's something you've done a million times in your life, so you don't have to focus in on walking. You can take in and see everything that you need to see because it's repetitive. So now let's just say somebody with a left-right environment and view, the minute you start a new job and you have to focus in, you're going to actually lose a little bit of your awareness until that job just becomes repetitive. Because you're focused. And when you're focused in on things, you lose your perspective. If you have to be active and focused, all of a sudden you lose your perspective. But what you'll notice is that as you walk through working there and things can become repetitive, all of a sudden, you then begin to bring back this awareness. You get to see more things. All of a sudden, your peripheral view comes back. And all of a sudden, you're seeing things in the workplace that you didn't see in the first few days or weeks. Because you were so focused in on your activity, you couldn't see it. And now all of a sudden, you have this peripheral view back. And that's where your awareness can continue to be enhanced. So what's important is that what you do can become repetitive. That it doesn't require that you spend a lot of time giving it real attention, so that your mind and your visual life can be free. When you think about perspective as a visual thing, recognize that it doesn't stop with the fact that you have to be looking at something that is interesting. So you can be sitting in a room looking at a wall. You're still going to be processing all kinds of information through your particular filter. You're able to process information way off to the side of you. So to be in that left-right storyline is that the less distraction you have in your work, the more exalted the potential for awareness. So if it's a dangerous place to work and you're constantly trying to focus in, that's not good for your awareness. So finding ways to do things efficiently, to work out mechanisms, to be able to bring back that fisheye lens. Just move through things so you don't have to give a lot of attention to it, to something that is, if it's a dangerous place and you have to focus in, you've lost your awareness. You want to be able to have jobs where the repetitive nature, you can still take in, you're taking in conversations, you're taking in how somebody's body language is, you're taking in, somebody's bringing in donuts into the coffee room. You see it all. And that, because you're at your desk and you're able to repetitively type in data with no actual thought process. Let's just say that. Okay? You don't have to focus your view. You can be looking out. So again, that active environment. It's always going to come down to the very basics. You're designed to be active. You're designed to be observed, but you need to have that peripheral view. What you do is not a decision that your mind can ever make for you. It's just not the way it works. And everything about what it means to be environmentally correct is that the environment is always connected to the activity that you're going to be doing, or the level of activity or the lack of it that is necessary for you to have a life that is healthy for you. It's healthy for these beings, these left environmental beings, to be active in their environment, whether physically active, as I described, you're physically moving around in that, or otherwise active, like you're typing or whatever that looks like. But it needs to be something that is so common to you, something that you've repeated so many times that you don't have to focus in on it. And understand that whatever the activity is, it's not what you're about. You're not a left person. The activity sets you up for the potential for you to be able to get the resources you need in your life, while at the same time being able to expand your awareness, because that is so important. So you need to have those things where you can have that environment where you can Take advantage of your mind being able to float. You get to move away from really what you're doing and drop into the awareness that you're able to see the whole thing. This is a consciousness level. It's important for you to be able to grasp the entire environment, be able to see the entire environment. I don't have that. I have a focused view. I get fixated and focused in on my work, or if I'm out working with the cattle, there's a focus. I don't look beyond that focus. I can't. Because the minute I have to do that, then I've lost the focus in on my work. You want to be able to have this peripheral view and let your work just happen in your active environment. Now let's look at a left view, so a focused view, but a passive observer in the environment. This is totally different. Now we're into a right environment. And the right environment, being the observer. So again, it isn't about what you do. It isn't about that. The right environment is here to have a passive environment and to be observed by others. So you get to display the symptoms of, per se, laziness. You're not designed to be active, but you're designed to be passive. A relaxed environment truly nourishes you. Okay? So relaxed environment, that could be many, many, many things. So maybe you work from home. And it's just you at home all day long. It's a very relaxed environment so that you can then focus in. But it isn't about you being active in the environment. It's about you being passive, being able to just be. So you take in the entire environment in a deeply focused way. You are here to be the observer, to watch it. You're designed to be the observer. So maybe you're a private investigator. Passive environment. You're sitting in your vehicle all day, focusing in on what you need to see. But the environment itself, you're the observer. You're not to be busy and active and to be observed. You're the observer in it. So you're not to be impacted by your environment, but to be a part of the environment and to take advantage of what you see in the environment. That passiveness allows you to settle into that relaxation of the environment. You get to meet the world there, and you will see with that acuteness, that focused energy, that focused perspective, you'll be able to focus in. So maybe you're the librarian. Passive environment where you can focus in. Who needs what? This lays the foundation for your mind and what it can grasp and what it can share. When you're in a relaxed environment of provocative struggle, for example, here, okay, you can focus on the correct vitality, 58 vitality that aligns you to the role models and the natural talents. So when we look at this, you bring in the keynoting. You guys have all walked through all the strengths, all the gates. I've shared with you in the wealth code aspect of this, how to know how to attune to these people. So this passive environment is so important. This isn't a busy place. This isn't you working in a fast food restaurant. This is about being in a passive environment. So maybe you're a home care aide and you get to just be with the other person. You get to read them books or whatever it is, and focus your energy in on that one person. This person here, focusing in on the vitality. Are they vital? Are they not? What's happening? How to provoke their own spirit. They're at the last stages of their lives. How to get them to relax into accepting that they're in the last phases of their lives. Listening to all their stories as they walk through their role model energy. Again, when we break these things down, we can see them at higher levels of understanding. So now we're going to move into the future of humanity. And this is really where we're going. We're going to this right environment. This right environment, right view, where it is completely about being the observer and having a peripheral perspective. This isn't about not being focused, full fisheye lens. This is where humanity is moving to. This 9-centered experience is moving us towards the receptive, the passive, the peripheral, the observer energy. This is the future of humanity. And if you are a right being, now if you're a quad right, as this person is, it's a very, very interesting aspect. I love it. I love having conversations with right or quad right beings. This is not about a job. And I watch these people. It is not about a job for them. It's about just taking in the experience. And what's so interesting, I have seen these people. Money and life just drops in front of them. And then these are the best people to write books because their experiences are so freaking deep. This is about existence. That's what you're taking in. That's what your environment is to be all about. Totally laid back environment. You're to be totally laid back in your environment. And again, I know these people and they are fascinating people. You are defined by what you deliver and when you are required to deliver it. People will drink from your well. You're taking in absolutely everything. So when people come up to you and just want to draw that information out, that is so beautiful. You get to take advantage of the environment, and your environment absolutely feeds you. It's not to be an active environment. You're not to be active in your environment. You're not designed to be focused in on absolutely anything. You're taking it all in. So your job in this life, your quote unquote job, it's not about your work. It's about just showing up. And when you show up, you get to take in experiences at such profound levels. Others cannot. I cannot take in experiences as a left environment, left view person. I do not take in experiences the way a right environment, right view person does. I can't. So you get to take it in deeply. And what is so important for this is that your environment becomes very important to you. The right being is an observer and cannot be distracted by their own activity. So the quality of the activity in the right environment is one that has to be one that doesn't take a whole bunch of attention. So whatever activity you're doing cannot take a lot of attention. Has to just be so ingrained in your cellular movement Because taking a whole bunch of time away from your perspective, all of a sudden you lose your awareness. You're designed to be one of the most aware beings. There has to be this absolute natural flow. Again, I watch these people that can knit, and they can absolutely, the TV can be on, their husband can be working in the kitchen, their kids can be playing, and they can be knitting, and they take in all of that. Passively sitting on the couch. And what you do does not matter to you. That should never be your focus. It should be about being in that experience. And if you have a reaction to that, as Ra would say, you've grown up in this very strategic left environment that tries to tell us that what we do has to define us, and that's not what is important for you at all. Again, I know these people, and I watch the struggle. I watch their struggle. They try to be so focused in on something because society tells them that they're supposed to be. It's not good for them. And you cannot live that purity of that right storyline unless you've surrendered completely to your vehicle, meaning let that strategy and authority take you where you need to. Your life will unfold. Because this is about seeing peripherally. Everything about the right storyline is that you're here to absorb and you're here to allow life to come to you. This is the whole magic of being a right being. Again, I watch the magic of these people's lives and I am in awe of it. So don't be concerned with the moment, okay? Just follow your strategy and authority, and this is where your life is going to take you. It will take you where you need to be. It's taking you precisely where you need to be. All you have to do is sit back and do what you do best, which is to take in the experience. And what's going to happen is that we're going to come to a time in humanity where we are deeply dependent on the right being, because these are the beings that store everything. So if we were to take a look at it from a brain and mind perspective, they have enormous capacity for storage of information, for all of these concepts. And at that life level, it's the capacity to take in the full richness of the life. So if we were to look at them through the sun-earth aspect, they store everything. But if we were to look at them through the storyline, this is how you can have richness of the life experience. Being deeply passive and peripheral. And what happens is that you master being in this Maya. Pure awareness, pure self-consciousness, self-reflected consciousness. So this isn't about being focused in on how to make money. This is about being in the experience and just letting the money flow to you. The other piece of this that is so important is when you're right, you're in a right storyline, or if you have the brain, body, and the mind system, which we talk about in the wellness code, if you have anything that has a right variable in any four of these, really is so important to know who's in your environment. Because the magic of this rightness is determined by the correctness of everybody in your environment. It's the other that takes advantage of your environment so that you can take them in. That environment of yours that allows you to be able to absorb, to observe, to get to the inner truth, to get to the facts of what it is. That's absolutely there. Processing it, seeing the probabilities, seeing the potential, seeing what people want, seeing what they fear, and laying the foundation of what you can express out of that as a concept. So for those of you that have the right storyline, trust deeply in your strategy and authority. You will be moved to the correct activity. And again, it isn't about the activity. It's about being within the activity. So don't be concerned about what it is, how much it pays. Because really, this is a serious aspect here. We need you guys correct. Because this is the movement of humanity. Everything about being correct begins with decisions. That strategy and authority, that decision-making strategy. It's so important for the right being not to be caught up in all the left propaganda. Oh, you have to do this. You have to have this strategy. You have to do this step. You have to do that. That is not what it is if you are a right environment, right view person. It's not about what you should do in your life. It's not about all these activities. It's not that, you should be all this busyness. It is absolutely the value of just you being in the experience. So when you can surrender to what it is to be someone who has such a modern and futuristic lifeline, you need to surrender to that in order to be able to fulfill its deep potential. And it is deep. Let me tell you, I know these people, and they are deep, deep, deep people, but they are deeply suffering in our left propaganda world. So we have special opportunities when we are in this right environment. There's a deep privilege to have access to the manual that you have right here through this whole program. Just be able to see how it works. Be able to see the other person. Place yourself in the correct environments with the right people. The correct people. So that they pull out of you what is required. Each one of us has a signpost. Satisfaction, success, peace, and awe. That is what we need to focus in on. It is not us focusing in on how do we make money? How do we do this? How do we do that? Doesn't work for this right being. Does not work for this right being at all. You just need to be in the experience. Write books. Share your experience. Be a podcaster. Be a YouTube personality. Bring the experience out. You can be a profiler. Watch language. Talk about body. There's so many things that a right being could do in this world that we require so that we can enhance our movement as humanity into the future. So now, this is it. We've walked through this for a whole hour. Your storyline is your life. How you nurture this all depends on your strategy and authority for sure. And your life is nurtured by having your physical body in the correct environment and your perception, whether it's focused or peripheral. Can you recognize your storyline? Can you recognize any of this? Now, as someone who has walked through the primary health system at the IHDS, that's why I'm sharing with you this slide. Because it is so important for us to grasp all of the differences that are out there Now you take these 16 variables and then you take the 12 different profiles, you take the 4 different types, you take the 64 different gates, the 36 different channels, the 6 different line qualities per gate, the 6 different colors, 6 different tones, 5 different bases. And the variations that can happen in human design are beyond comprehension. There's a number that can be created out of that. But when we can really understand that each one of us has this perfect storyline for our uniqueness, there is nothing that is so much more profound than to know that we are fully supported by this whole trajectory.